And I always dread driving along the river because of the guardrail situation.
A Spokane family is dead after their car crashed into the Salmon River in Idaho. Tonight, what we know about the family and why locals say guardrails could have prevented this.
Plus, the suspect accused of murdering a man at a Spokane Valley motel faced a judge for the first time today. Tonight, what court documents reveal about what happened.
Summer heat and afternoon storms to start the week, but cooler temps round it out.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Thank you for being here. Over the weekend, a man and his 3 children were found dead in their car after it overturned into the Salmon River.
The Idaho County coroner identified the victims as 36-year-old Calvin Miller, 17-year-old Dakota Miller, 10-year-old Jack Miller, and 8-year-old Delilah Miller. Our Janelle Finch joins us in the studio tonight to tell us what more she learned about the victims tonight. Janelle?
Mark and Whitney, families and friends of the Millers are grieving the loss of 4 individuals tonight. 2 of those victims were students in the Riverside School District. Zella Blair wrote on Facebook claiming Jack and Delilah Miller as her children. She posted on her business page today, telling her followers how much of a blessing they were in her life. In the post, she says one of her final moments with her kids was looking at portraits of the Riverside High School graduates. She said, quote, "I happily told them both that someday soon that would be them up there. I would give anything for them to have that chance, but now they never will. Just when they were really starting to blossom and grow and have friends and get so very smart. 1 week before summer vacation. They never will get that chance that's so deserved." End quote. The Riverside School District superintendent confirmed 10-year-old Jack and 8-year-old Delilah were students at Chatteroy Elementary School. Teachers there are also coping with the loss of their students. KREM 2 was unable to confirm where 17-year-old Dakota Miller went to school. 2 verified GoFundMes are live right now to raise money for surviving family members. One of those fundraisers is already over $10,000. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
Well, thank you very much. And following that crash, the small town of Riggins, Idaho, has their focus centered on safety this week. And as Andrew Bartline with our sister station in Boise reports tonight, locals say the highway is missing guardrails.
It's one of those things that once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Riggins, it's kind of a fishing town.
Salmon fishing.
And it's Michael Reinhardt's destination of choice.
Oh yeah, it's good fishing, real good fishing.
But not an easy one to get to.
It can be quite taxing, especially on your eyes. And fall asleep, you'll go right off the canyon.
By way of Highway 95, you'll notice the details on the way here, too. At least,
Being the passenger, I'm nervous constantly.
Shelley and Rick do.
Through here.
And that's not to say there aren't guardrails on 95. I'm looking at one right now, just a mile or so north of Riggins. But if you take 95 north just a little bit further, that guardrail now is completely gone, within a mile of where we were before. And the road's still windy and the river's right there.
I always dread driving along the river because of the guardrail situation or the lack of. It just seems really random where they're placed.
It's not the big sign welcoming you to town.
They call it Riggins because there's so many rocks, you're gonna have to keep rigging up your reel.
But you'll notice it all the same.
You know, they only got so much money to take care of the freeways around here, so.
Reporting from Riggins, Andrew Bartline, KREM 2 News.
In other news, a murder suspect is spending his first full day in jail. Just hours ago, that man appeared before a judge. Tonight, KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is reporting on the newly filed court documents describing what led deputies to the suspect in that Red Top Motel murder this weekend. Amanda?
Spokane County court documents say investigators identified Michael Perry as the suspect by using Red Top Motel surveillance video, past booking photos, and confirmation from employees at the Trent shelter.
A body found in a room at the Spokane Valley Red Top Motel Saturday prompted a large police presence. Spokane County deputies and major crimes detectives closed off the property to preserve the scene over the weekend. Now, newly filed court documents describe how investigators made their arrest. Documents say a witness staying at the Red Top Motel told investigators the morning the body was found, they heard arguing 2 doors down. 2 hours later, the witness went into room 115 with a motel employee. That's when they found a dead man's body in the shower with the water still running. Court documents say the victim suffered multiple stab wounds to the neck, arm, and torso. The motel employee told investigators he checked on the tenants of room 115 4 days prior because they hadn't checked out yet. He said a bearded man told him they wanted to stay longer, but just needed the money. Investigators also showed Trent shelter employees photos of the suspect from the motel surveillance video. They recognized the suspect as Michael Perry and confirmed he had a bed at the shelter.
Spokane County Court documents say on the same day the body of the victim was found at the motel, a witness here at Feltz Field noticed smoke coming from near the riverbank. He later reported to police. When he reached the source of that smoke, he found a man burning all the clothes he had on him and said his name was Michael.
That witness said he gave the suspect some clothes and a ride back to the Trent shelter, and that's where a detective found the suspect. Court documents say Perry had blood in his hair, his hands were swollen, and had cuts on his hands and body. Perry also had a knife in his possession.
Now, in court today, Perry did not enter a plea. He is, however, remaining in Spokane County Jail with a $1 million bond. Now, at this time, we are still waiting on the Spokane County medical examiner to identify that victim. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you. And in an effort to bring you more to every story, we did look into our archives to see what other criminal activity has happened this year at that particular motel, or at least in the last year. In March of 2022, 2 people were shot inside a motel room. Court documents say the suspect, Joshua Seth, owed a few hundred dollars to one of the victims who was staying there at that motel.
Seth remains in the Spokane County Jail on charges of attempted murder, assault, and drive-by shooting, as well as unlawful possession of a firearm and eluding. He is expected to go to trial at the end of next month. In other news, today the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students has requested an extension from the court to provide his alibi.
In a recently filed motion, Brian Koberger's attorney is asking the court to allow them more time to go through all of the evidence that has been given to them by the prosecution. In the 6 months that he's been held in custody, Koberger's public defender says prosecutors have turned over 51 terabytes of information to the defense.
That information includes thousands of photographs and gigabytes of electronic phone records and more. For a full breakdown of the motion, just head on over to our website, which of course is KREM.com.
Well, at this hour, we are tracking a wildfire actively burning in Grant County, right near eastbound I-90.
According to the Grant County Sheriff's Office, the fire is near the Wild Horse Monument. It can be seen from the road and from the Vantage Bridge. Deputies say it is burning about 50 acres, but it is moving away from I-90. This photo right here was taken a couple of hours ago. You can see helicopters have been called in to fight the fire, and officials are deciding what other agencies need to be called in at this time.
Right now, we know there are no structures actively threatened by this fire. Of course, this is a developing story. We'll continue to follow it and bring you updates as soon as we have them.
All right, taking a break from the headline to talk weather here locally. This week is starting on a hot note with temperatures topping off near 90 degrees today.
Yes, but for more information on what we can expect for the rest of this work week, we want to turn straight to our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo.
Well, it's more heat tomorrow again, but as a cold front moves through, we have a lot to talk about. We sit at 81 degrees right now, but notice the wind out of the north-northwest at 14 miles per hour. That's playing a role in our air quality. We sit at a moderate currently, a 60 in AQI. Not enough that you would really notice it if it weren't for the addition of some of that pollen in the atmosphere. So if you're sniffing a little bit, it's a combination of wildfire smoke from wind moving in from the north. It is not much smoke, not enough to worry about. But what we're also looking at is a few storms popping up. How about this one just popping up in Spokane right now? Looks like it's going to make its way across the South Hill, maybe even bring us a little bit of thunder and lightning as it starts to strengthen. But overall, we aren't expecting too much more in the way of storms. Those will continue to wind down overnight, and then we'll get another round tomorrow. Likely a little of an enhancement tomorrow evening as the cold front itself moves through, and we'll see even gustier wind. That wind across central Washington is prompting red flag warnings that will be in place throughout the day tomorrow. Those are for elevated fire risk and wind gusts up near 50 miles per hour. So tomorrow, hot, dry, and windy. That's the name of the game. We'll cool down a little bit through the middle of the week, but even then, temperatures stay in the mid-70s.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Still ahead tonight, the Spokane City Council looking to launch an investigation into the Spokane police chief. Up next, how they plan to do that during tonight's meeting.
And in about 10 minutes, details on how the city of Spokane is working to bring a zip line to downtown.